Okay, modeling the pen. I'm going to press spacebar because I have dynamic spacebar enabled. So spacebar, add object, add mesh, and add a cylinder. Down here on the left, I want this cylinder to only have 4 vertices. Let's zoom out a little bit. As you can see, like if you increase this, your cylinder will have more or less vertices. This little option down here on the left may be hidden. If it is, if you look real close, there'll be like a little plus bar that makes this option pop out. Oh, and also if you press the letter T, it opens and closes this toolbar. Okay, so I'm going to stick with 4, so I'm just going to hit enter, and then I'm going to add a subdivision modifier. So over here in properties, just click on this little wrench and go to subdivision surface, and I'm just going to make it 1 subdivision. So you see it kind of makes it look weird. That's just because it's getting subdivided. So to kind of combat this weirdness, I'm just going to hit Ctrl R, and I'm going to make a loop cut, and then I'm just going to raise that loop all the way up to the end. And that's a way to kind of get sharper edges when using the subdivision modifier. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down. And alright, so those are some sharper edges. I'm going to hit A to select all the vertices. I'm going to scale it till it looks about as skinny as I think a pen would be. Okay, now I'm just going to press S, Z to scale on the Z axis. That looks about the length of a pen. Okay, so I need to bring this edge loop up more just to make this end sharper. So if you hold Option and right click on this loop, you can select adjust that loop. So G for grab, Z for Z axis, and I'm just going to raise that up again. Okay, so that looks kind of like the end of a pen. Alright, now I need to make the little plug that goes in here. So grab, or not grab, I'm sorry, Shift duplicate that plane, push G to grab and Z to move it up a little bit. And then I'm going to grab this part, I'm going to hit X, and I'm going to delete the face on the end. Select these 4, extrude, scale, okay, and then extrude, and then press Z to make it extrude straight down. That's just going to give it kind of a little edge like that. I'm actually going to hit Option and select this edge loop again and just bring it up a little higher just to make that edge kind of sharp. Okay, so this part up here will be the cap. So I'm just going to select all that, extrude E, Z to go on the Z axis and bring it down. Ctrl R again just to make this ring, just to kind of sharpen that edge. Ctrl R again. Now you could use the edge split and mark the edges as sharp, but I've just never really had very much luck doing that. So okay, here's the bottom part. Extrude Z again. Let's scale that down. Actually, let's bring this back up. GZ. Let's scale it up a little. Extrude Z. Okay, that looks fine. That's just going to be the little plug that goes on the bottom. Let's see, where'd it go? Okay, so I kind of screwed up and I made it a little lopsided, but that's alright. I'm just going to press Z to go into X-ray mode, B to do the box, and let's just grab this, kind of straighten it out. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so that makes, well, let's see. Let me just kind of straighten this out real quick. Grab. Okay, 1 to go to front view, 2 to go to, or sorry, 3 to go to side view. Okay, I'm gonna press Z and go back into that. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, but let's see. One thing I can do is just bring this down a little bit because the plug isn't really that thick. And then, let's see. The other thing is Ctrl L. I'm going to select this whole thing. I'm just going to scale it a little bit because the plug doesn't really, plug needs to be just a little bit smaller. Okay. Now that I have these vertices all selected, I'm going to go over here to the properties and click on this little triangle, and I'm going to add a vertex group. And I'm just going to call this plug. So now later if I want to select just the plug, I can, but make sure that you hit assign. So I'm going to assign those to be the plug. So now later when I go to texture, I can just select the plug and I can assign whatever material I want to. Okay, so let's go down and make the tip. All right. Option. Okay, so there's all 4 on the tip. I'm just going to hit grab Z. I'm going to scale this down a little bit. You see how it gets kind of weird? That's because of the subdivision thing. You just want to do Ctrl R again. Bring that up. Let's come out a little bit. Ctrl R. If you kind of hover over where you want the ring, it'll go there automatically. So Ctrl R on the center. I'm just going to bring that down. So if you bring it like all the way against, it'll make it kind of sharp. If you leave a little bit, it'll kind of make it smoother. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that. Let's do one more ring. Okay, so there's the tip. All right, and so now while I have this selected, I am going to want this end. I know that I'm going to want this part to be one material. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that again, and I'm just going to call this vertex group tip 1, assign. Okay, and then I'm going to want a different material for kind of like the ball of the pen. So A to deselect everything. Let's push Z to go to X-ray view. Grab that, and I'm just going to call that ball, and then hit assign. Okay, so these are vertex groups, just so you know. You're going to go to the properties, click on this triangle, open up vertex groups. So now, let's see. Let me select these other guys. And select these, and then I'm just going to add one more, and I'm just going to call that shaft of the pen and hit assign. Okay, so now when I want to, I can select the plug, I can select the tip, I can select the ball, or I can select the shaft. Okay, let's make the little tube thing that goes inside and holds the ink. So to do that, let's see. First, I'm going to go to face select mode by hitting Control Tab, face select, and I'm just going to select these faces on the shaft and just hide them by pressing H. So they're just going to be hidden for now. Okay, and then let's see, I'm going to go back to vertex select mode, hold Option and right click this square right here, Shift D, right click, G for grab, Z for Z axis, bring that up just a little bit, and I'm just going to scale it down to about the size that I think the ink tube would be. Okay, that looks good enough for me. So grab Z, GZ, bring it down. Let's see, let's bring it down a little more. Okay, so I'm just going to hit extrude Z to bring this up a little more. Okay, so now I need to be able to see those. Oh, I guess I can see the end. Okay, so I'm just going to hit grab and Z. The ink thing doesn't go all the way to the end. Okay, so here's the tube. I'm just going to hit Ctrl L to select the linked vertices. And let's see, I'm going to add one more, and I'm just going to call it tube and hit assign. So one more vertex group for the tube. The other thing I'm going to do is I want to have some ink in here. So let's see, let me just isolate this tube. I'm going to hit the end, Control L again, hide all that. Okay, so now I have, this is just the ink tube. So what I'm going to do is just kind of make separate faces so I can just easily add different textures without having to UV unwrap and paint and all that stuff. So Control R, and I'm just going to do, let's see, for the first one, let's just do 2 cuts. And then if I press SZ, I can bring these two closer together. GZ, I can grab that. Okay, so this is going to be, I'm making another ring just because I have the subdivision thing on. So let's see. I'm just going to grab all this now. Let's deselect this ring. I'm going to make one more vertex group, and I'm going to call it ink. Okay, had caps lock on, that's okay. All right, and then I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to cut this a couple more times just to make, the little part where like there's a little bit of ink left or whatever. Okay. And so since I know I have the subdivision thing on, I'm just going to make another loop and just put it near there. Okay, so let's see. Let's just grab this and this. I'm going to assign that to the ink. And then let's make another little spot just right in here where there'd be like just a little sliver of ink. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll see later. So just do that, and then let's see. Option, right click. Scale Z. Okay, and I'm going to assign that to ink. Okay, so if I hit ink and select, okay, so that's going to kind of look like, you know, this is the part of the ink that goes to the pen, and these are just little droplets left over. Let's see, let's do one more little ink part on the top. You could do this by UV unwrapping and painting, but I just kind of like, it's easier for me if I just do it this way, and then I can just assign the material to these faces and it doesn't take as long. So okay, so I'm going to assign that to ink. So let's see, if I do tube, kind of selects all of them. Okay, so I'm going to remove those from tube. I'm going to hit ink, select the part with the ink, and then I'm going to press H to hide those, Z to make it X-ray, B to do a box. I'm going to select this part, and this is the tube part without the ink. Okay, so assign that to the tube. Okay, so now let's see, Option H. Let's go up and put this plug back in, and we should be done. Ctrl L to grab this plug, grab Z just to bring it down, and okay, there's a little plug. Alright, so we have modeled our pen. Now we just need to do the cap. Alright, so quickly, this is taking kind of a long time. Let's see, Option H to show everything again. I'm just going to grab this ring, Shift D, duplicate it, grab Z, bring it down. I'm going to extrude, scale. That just, let me do that again in this view. Extrude, scale, okay, and then let's see, extrude Z, just kind of bring it down like a cap, scale this. Let's add a face on the end by pressing F. Okay, so Control L to get this cap. I'm going to press Z to go in the X-ray view, grab Z. We just kind of want to make this, I'm going to scale it up a little bit. We just kind of want to make it so it fits over the end. So let's scale it down a little. That looks good enough for me. Alright. Control R again just to kind of give it a better tip. Control R one more time. Scale this out. Let's see, what does it look like now? Let's scale this a little more. Let's see. I'm just going to make it a little bit longer. Scale that a little more. Oh yeah, and I need to do one more ring here. Just bring that up so it looks like a cap. Okay. Now I want the cap to be smooth, so just only the cap vertices selected, I'm going to go over here and hit smooth shading. Okay, let's move this cap over because it's actually going to end up being a separate part. Let's see. Bring this down, just, yeah. Something like that. That's good enough. Okay. Now we just need to add the little part that like clips on your pocket. So I'm going to hit Shift A, and I'm going to add a cube. Scale this cube way down. Let's make this cube smooth while we're at it. Let's see. Scale it way down. Bring it over here. Scale Z. Grab Z. Ctrl R. Grab these two. I'm going to pull this kind of like something like that. Okay. Pull this one up. Oops, I need both of them. Okay, pull this one up. Something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, Ctrl L. I'm going to go to the top view. Grab Y. Let's see. Let's rotate this a little bit just so I can find. Yeah, let's rotate it like that. Okay, Ctrl L to grab this little part. Put that there. Let's see, scale X. And then let's rotate it a little bit. Grab X. That looks kind of like a pen cap. Okay, that's good enough for me. Alright, I'm going to do the textures in the next one because this is getting really long.